Welcome back to Morning Joy, where truth matters. I'm your host, Keith Downey, and very excited to introduce our next guest this morning. He's going to be soon in May, going to be the Executive Director of Young Catholic Professionals, which helps bring young adults and seasoned business professionals in various events to foster Catholic identity, encourage community, and inspire action. Good morning, Peter Blute. How are you?
Doing great, Keith. So glad to be here with you. Good morning.
Likewise. My goodness, and I mentioned a little bit, you're essentially taking the reins from Jennifer Ba as the new Executive Director of Young Catholic Professionals, but I do have a question for you. What was it originally that attracted you to Young Catholic Professionals in general?
Yeah, it was really my own walk of faith. YCP, the very short version, having wandered away from the faith coming out of college, I was really seeking, but I didn't know where to go. I wasn't really connected with the parish. I wasn't attending Mass too much. I just actually moved back here from living overseas in Italy for a couple of years. And so I felt really disconnected, right? And especially as a young 20-something, having a group of friends to surround yourself with is really important. So I was trying to figure out, what is my faith going to be for me as an adult, right? And I was pretty sure that I still wanted to practice my faith and really kind of figure out what it meant to live my Catholic faith as a non-college student or someone living at home with parents more guiding my faith development. So ultimately, I found YCP. I was invited a number of times by a friend, and she was very persistent with me, which I consider a great gift. So I ended up at YCP, and I came to that first event, and I was truly blown away by the caliber of people, the joy that they were sort of experiencing life with, and just immediately made some friends who've gone on to be really close friends of mine. So it was really the people that first drew me in, and this kind of seeking with what does life look like when faith is kind of practically a part of every moment of that life. And I didn't really know what that was. And YCP was really a catalyst then for me to really experience that.
Yeah, that's great. It's the young people today and just working in the corporate world have a lot up against them. So it's great to have a program like YCP to help connect, because like you said, it's important for us Catholics to stick together. So that being said, YCP helps young professionals connect with not only each other, but also the church. What kind of impact do you see these young people having in the future due to YCP?
Yeah, really, YCP helps generally young people move from a place of feeling disconnected, uncertain, lonely. We know the percentages of people who are lonely now, experiencing some kind of loneliness, is so high, and it's only growing, right? Especially since COVID and these last handful of years. So helping them move from a place of uncertainty and disconnection to a place of focus and purpose and direction in their lives, and surrounding themselves with peers to do it with. And so what that does to someone's life is it gives them confidence, we believe, and have seen at the end of the day. It gives them confidence in their direction. And it does that because, number one, they have people around them who are helping guide that direction. That would be peers who are going through similar things, but also the intergenerational connection, because our speakers and mentors are a decade, 2, 3 ahead of our young 20 and 30 something members. Number two, it really helps give them confidence in their faith, because they come to YCP, and through YCP, they're exposed to the faith in really beautiful ways. And so whether they're taking advantage of confession during a YCP event, a busy professional, we want to decrease the hurdles to experiencing the sacraments that some who may not be really engaged in their faith are experiencing. And then hearing from the speakers what it's like to actually practice your faith in the workplace. How do we bridge this gap that exists between faith and work so that we don't go to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and then we practice our faith on Sunday for, an hour or two when we go to mass. So that's really the impact that we're seeing is a confidence that grows in what my faith is, what it means to me, and how I can practice it in life.
Yeah, and I mean, you are growing rapidly. You got 40 chapters across 25 states. So that's a testament to what you're all doing there. So thank you, by the way, for that. One thing I did notice too, and it was very interesting. So you're going to be transitioning over to your new role as executive director May 1st of 2024. And the interesting part about that is that you're starting your role on St. Joseph the Worker's Feast Day. Was that planned or just kind of a cool coincidence?
No, absolutely planned. Yeah, I mean, St. Joseph the Worker is our patron for YCP, and so we rely on him for all that we do for his prayers, his involvement in this ministry, and really ultimately that we can learn to practice the virtues that he so beautifully displayed in his life: courage, patience, charity, this kind of quiet resolve that he gives us. And at the end of the day, he's there at his workbench doing the work that God has called him to do. And so we thought, what better time to have this transition happen than on this amazing feast day. So yes, that's really one of the highest days of the year for us here at YCP, and we celebrate it in really wonderful ways.
Yeah, it's very cool. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I can't imagine that's a coincidence, but it's beautiful no matter the case. So thank you for sharing that. I do have a question. As you are now kind of moving over into this new role, what are you most excited about in the future for YCP?
Yeah, I mean, being in 40 cities now, and we're likely going to be in 50 by middle of next year or so. I mean, there's so much outpouring of desire to connect through this YCP network. And I think, YCP is providing a real need for the world today, at least for now, for the United States. But I do think that there is an opportunity beyond, our borders here. We certainly have interest across the world, people who have reached out to us many, many times over the years, really desiring us to bring YCP to another country, right? And to connect them into this network of young professionals working in Witness for Christ. I think there's an opportunity for us to continue to help people strengthen in their faith, and to, especially in a world that is increasingly anti-faith, increasingly trying to draw us away from the things of God, that we can not put up walls, not kind of come inside the compound, but help people to be strengthened and know their faith and live their faith, and then be able to go back out and be really leaven in the world. And so I think today we're just scratching the surface on what that actually looks like. With tens of thousands of people involved, it is still a very, very, very small percentage of the young people here in the United States that would benefit from knowing about YCP. So we'll both be continuing to expand geographically to reach new cities, because as a professional network, we want to have a geographic reach that's growing, of course, especially for such a mobile generation. And it's pretty clear that the next generation is only going to be more so. And then also going deeper in our cities. When we think about the connections that people are making, and the opportunity to make friends, meet a future spouse, meet a business partner, find a new job, these are really critical parts of our life. And so we'll be continuing to expand the ways that we help people to connect in a meaningful, really genuine way that can be really tough to do in the world today.
I do, as far as when you mentioned professionals, what if someone is they're still trying to figure out what they're wanting to do as far as their career goes? Maybe they're working at a restaurant. Would something like Young Catholic Professionals be a good place for them as well?
Oh, absolutely. When we use the word professional, we really mean seeking to understand and practice your vocation. And so, especially if you're in a place where you may be looking for a job, or, even if you think about college students, right? Seniors, as they're sort of starting to build their network, starting to discern their first job out of school, YCP can really be a place for them. But it is amazing that we have people not just who, put on a suit jacket and go into an office tower, but we have plumbers, and we have teachers, and we have all different kinds of people because, St. Joseph was a carpenter, right? That's one of the reasons that it's so great to have him as a patron, is he gives us this model of someone who really is can kind of be the everyman, right? And so there's no specific industry that you have to be a part of. You don't even have to be practicing your faith or Catholic at all. YCP is a place that you can come and grow in your career. You will be exposed to the Catholic faith in really, I think, beautiful ways. So it's really just more about an openness, I think, on the career side and the spiritual side that we hope you can come to YCP with.
Wow, that's great. Great to hear. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are just like, okay, now I'm 100% in. Let's go. If maybe I'm in a city that doesn't have a YCP chapter, what are some things that I can do to have one or maybe search for one?
Well, first, reach out to us because there's a good chance that we may already be working on a chapter in your city. And it takes a lot of people and resources to put that together. So we're looking for young leaders who can lead the chapter, more experienced board members who can be really kind of the wisdom and guidance, and then, of course, clergy who can be the spiritual guides for the chapter. So send us an email, reach out to us on social media, and we would love to connect with you. And we also do have access to different virtual events. So we have our Refiner's Fire series that happens every month. So there are ways that you can tie into YCP, become a member even, and take part in the YCP community without having a chapter in your city. All that being said, though, we are going to continue growing, and we would love to talk to you more about how we can make that a reality in your city.
Wow. That's great news. And yes, we can go to youngcatholicprofessionals.org, probably to find out what you were just mentioning, as well as jumping on your socials. Sounds like a much, much, much better version of LinkedIn. And it's more personable and it's Catholic, so why not go to youngcatholicprofessionals.org to find more. And gosh, thank you so much, Peter, for joining us on our radio segments. But hey, there's two things here as we're wrapping up Morning Joy. First, if you're going to stay on the radio here and continue with the celebration of the Holy Mass right here on Guadalupe Radio Network, please pray for us. We need the prayers. And second, for those who are wanting to keep the conversation going, head on over to our YouTube and Facebook pages right now. That's GRN Online for YouTube and Morning Joy Show for our Facebook page for the exclusive after show Clubhouse. We'll be diving deeper into today's topic, answering your live chat questions, and having some fun along with it. So we'll see you there on our after show Clubhouse.
This has been Morning Joy, where truth matters, hosted by Keith Downey. Take some joy with you today. Visit grnonline.com/joy to listen again, share a segment, or answer the question of the day. That's grnonline.com/joy.